All right, Mike, let's bring Mary Kay in.
Yeah, we'll get Mary Kay in after a quick word from the Home Builders Association. Gift big this year with the Home for the Holidays raffle. You have a chance to win a beautiful new custom home or a cash prize and help make the wishes come true for Make-A-Wish kids with critical illnesses. All raffle proceeds benefit Make-A-Wish OKI, which has granted over 22,000 wishes to children in Ohio, Kentucky, and Indiana since 1983. This year's house, a custom-built ranch by Petros Homes, and has 3 bedrooms, 2.5 baths, and a 3-car garage. Also includes amazing features like a great room with vaulted ceilings, an unbelievable kitchen with beautiful finishes, and a large hidden pantry, a mudroom with a unique pet shower station. One lucky winner will be announced on Christmas Eve, so get your $100 ticket now. Just visit ahomefortheholidays.org to buy your tickets. That's ahomefortheholidays.org. Terms and conditions apply.
Mary Kay, how are you? Thank you for joining us. I have to ask you a question that is completely unfair, but I got to ask. Would the Browns beat reporters, as the leader of the Browns beat reporters, may I request that you guys at Kevin Stefanski's next press conference immediately stand up and walk out in protest of the fact that he does not give anybody a straight answer no matter what question you ask him? Is there any chance that will happen?
No, that won't happen. And you have to remember that I cut my teeth in the Bill Belichick era. Remember
That's
that.
true.
So,
yeah.
My whole first 5 years as the main beat writer of the Cleveland Browns, I got plenty of non-answers from Bill Belichick. So I'm very used to it, and these guys can do whatever they want. Now, we know Kevin has it in him to answer questions. When he wants to turn it on, he can really do that. So it's not like he just doesn't have the personality or whatever the case may be, because when he wants to, he can. He just doesn't choose to much of the time.
How frustrating is that, honestly, when he just doesn't even really give you an answer to what you want to know?
Well, it's frustrating, but like I said, I learned early on in my career to work around it. You talk to players, you talk to other coaches. I'll tell you what, the assistant coaches are great quotes. Almost all of them are amazing quotes. We talked to Jacques Césaire and Mike Bloomgren last Friday, and they were both incredible. So we have enough to work with, and that's just how Kevin is going to do the job right now in terms of the media part of it, and there's just nothing we can do about that.
Yeah.
Mary Kay, let me ask you, give the fans something. Why should fans show up to this game on Sunday? What was something positive that you took away from this last game that fans should be like, you know what, that is exciting, let me go see them this Sunday?
Well, I think there are a couple of things, if you're a Browns fan, that you can get excited about right now. First of all, I think Myles Garrett is having, obviously, a fantastic season. I would argue in some cases he might even be having his best career season. So that's one thing to keep an eye on. And then Carson Schlesinger. You just can't say enough about the season that Carson Schlesinger is having. And that was one of the good quotes that Kevin has provided us in the last month, was yesterday when he was asked about Carson, and he went to bat for him as NFL Defensive Rookie of the Year, saying that he has Wolverine blood. So Carson is doing an amazing job, and he's somebody that Browns fans can hang their hat on and get excited about. Then I think you can look at some of these other rookies. Quinshawn, right? If you can find a rookie who can come in here and ease the loss of Nick Chubb, I think that says a lot. And I think that Quinshawn Judkins is doing just that. He's really, really good. And he's somebody that Browns fans are going to really enjoy watching over the next how many ever years. And there are other players in that category too. I would say Harold Fannin is going to be really good. So there are a bunch of really good young players on this football team that will form the foundation of a, I don't know if I should say Super Bowl window, but the sort of their second Super Bowl window that they're trying to build here over the next 3 or 4 years. So that's what I would say going forward. I don't know about that way, but we'll see.
Mary Kay, I'm sitting here looking at this, and Dee Podesta leaves last week, and he moves on to the Colorado Rockies. You have Andrew Berry, who didn't speak at the bye week. Then you have Kevin Stefanski, who seemed to be caught off guard a little bit by the Joe Flacco thing. Heading into one of the most pivotal off seasons in memory that I could think of, because they're trying to move into a whole new stadium. They got to figure out what's going on with the coaching staff and what's going on with this quarterback. Given the fact that all of these different things, do you believe that the Cleveland Browns front office, coaching staff, and ownership are all still in lockstep and all on the same page as we speak?
Well, as we move forward through the rest of the season and head into the offseason, here's the truth of the matter. We do not know what Jimmy Haslam is really thinking. We don't know what the ownership group is really thinking. What we do know is that he told us back at the owners' meetings that he wasn't going to really necessarily hold Kevin Stefanski or Andrew Berry's feet to the fire this season when they knew that their quarterback situation with Deshaun Watson did not work out and that they were going to be trying out these two young quarterbacks in Dillon Gabriel and Shedeur Sanders, and this was not a year that they were expected to contend for maybe the playoffs, but certainly not the Super Bowl. So I don't know if Jimmy is going to be able to keep that continuity and the alignment that he values so much. I think some of it will depend on how this team finishes out the season. I think you want to see smart, tough, accountable football. I don't think they played that way on Sunday. I think those gaffes at the end of the game were inexcusable. I think the two returns for touchdowns were inexcusable. So I think they all need to play a whole lot better and play a whole lot smarter moving forward. I do not know what Jimmy is thinking. I don't think anybody knows what Jimmy is thinking. He's going to keep that very, very close to the vest until they decide after the season what they want to do when they look at everything like they always do. So I can't answer that question right now, but I do know that Jimmy values not blowing things up if he doesn't have to.
We think Jim Schwartz could ever be a head coach again?
I think he can be. I definitely think that he can be, and I think it's unfortunate that he doesn't get more looks or more attention in that regard. I thought after their 2023 season that he should be somebody that they should take a look at. But, a lot of times you go with the it guy, you go with the young guys, and some of these older coaches, they don't get their opportunities anymore. But I think somebody would be very, very smart to bring him in, interview him, and see what he's got going, because I think he's really evolved over the years. I think he's an excellent coach. I think he works really, really well with players. He's great with the media. I think he's a great candidate, and somebody would be smart to give him a shot.
Mary Kay, I know we've already talked about the fact that Kevin doesn't answer the questions, but when he was asked about Shedeur Sanders, he wouldn't even say his name. He said he didn't want to speculate about it. So the way I read that, again, maybe it doesn't mean anything, but the way I read that is the only way Shedeur Sanders is going to play is if Gabriel gets hurt or, I guess, Jimmy forces his hand. Do you think it's that case or no?
I think they're going to take it week by week. I think they're going to see how it goes as the weeks go by. And what we do know about Dillon Gabriel is the fact that the Browns wanted to give him a good long look. They're trying to develop this rookie and see what they have in him. And he was their third-round pick. So a lot of people say, well, why don't they turn it over to Shedeur this week? Why would you only want to give Dillon Gabriel 5 weeks and you're going to give Shedeur Sanders 8 weeks? So that doesn't really make sense to me. I think in terms of Dillon Gabriel, I think he showed some things in this Tommy Rees called offense. I think it showed a little bit of promise. I liked it better. And I think that those two deserve a chance to work together a little bit more. And also, when you look at this football game, when you look back at this game, it was, of course, an uneven performance by Dillon and everyone. But he was also sacked 6 times. He did not have a lot of great protection. He didn't necessarily get as many, he didn't get as much help from his skill players as he probably could have used. He made enough of his own mistakes on his own to cause his own problems, but it was a collective thing. The key point here that I would like to make is the fact that he had a chance, or would have had a chance, to go out there and try to pull off a come-from-behind victory if those 2 defensive penalties did not happen on that last drive of the Jets. He should have had the ball back with 1:50 left and 2 timeouts remaining. And with what they did to the Jets on the previous drive, with Dillon scrambling for 19 yards and 15 yards and hitting Fannin for a 12-yard pass on 3rd down, it might have been pretty good for him to go out there and execute a comeback against this Jets defense. So we would be talking about him in a much, much different way, perhaps, if those 2 penalties didn't happen.
Mary Kay, who do you think is the most talented quarterback on the roster?
right now the most talented quarterback on the roster. Well, I don't know if you can throw Deshaun Watson into that mix right now.
Yeah.
Because
You throw him in. Yeah.
okay, if I throw him in there, I would say that he's probably the most talented quarterback on the roster right now, just by virtue of the fact that he's made 3 Pro Bowls, and most of the other guys are either rookies or very young players. I mean, so I would have to say that, we haven't seen Deshaun Watson since the second Achilles surgery that he had in January, but just in terms of his overall skill set, his experience, and his Pro Bowl pedigree, I would have to say Deshaun.
So you think they open up his window to see him soon?
Although Kevin, the way he answered that question did made it seem like he was not going to see him.
Well, I wrote a story this morning. I posted it probably a couple of hours ago that they're not opening the practice window this week, but I do think that they will open it at some point over the next few weeks. That is my gut feeling on that. And to hear Bill Musgrave talk about Deshaun box jumping and all the things that he's doing, it almost seems like there is some sentiment for seeing him play this season. I don't know if it will actually happen. They're keeping that very close to the vest. They're always very mum about Deshaun. It's almost like he's the one who shall not be named half the time. But I do think there's a world in which he might get on the field this season. I just don't know if it would be before they would play Shedeur. I think that that would be very controversial if they did that. But I think there's a world in which he's going to play.
Yesterday, Kevin Stefanski said that he has all the faith in the world that Bubba Ventrone is still the right guy to lead the special teams unit. Mary Kay, were you surprised that he gave Bubba the full endorsement after what we saw on Sunday?
No, not really, because these guys don't like to make changes during the season. So, they don't make knee-jerk reactions, and they really try to exercise patience during the season. We've never really seen anybody just completely fired during the season, even when there were times when it felt like they should have been. So I think this is one of the things that they will probably look at after the season along with everything else. But a mid-season change, I really didn't think they were going to do that.
Thanks, Mary Kay. We appreciate it. We'll talk to you again next week.
Appreciate it.
Thank you, guys.